It's Steam Next Fest October 25 edition, and whilst I didn't get the chance to play tons of demos, I did get a few rhythm and music style games in, as I always do. And I have to say, this collection, or crop, are quite promising. Now, kicking off with Glisynth first and foremost, because this has a very simple change to the way how it does a rhythm action game, but I really enjoyed it. There are two colours in this game, yellow and white, and they fall from the sky like shards or like stars or fireworks. I'm not quite sure what they were supposed to be. But when they hit the trigger line, the white ones can only be saved if you press any key on the QWERTY line of your keyboard, and the yellow ones are on the ASDF line of your keyboard. And so you set up your hands however you want them to be, but know that they're going to be kind of trickling down so that it kind of makes you go doodle-doodle, doodle-doodle quite often. And so you're kind of trilling and doing all kinds of arpeggios up and down your keys, and it works incredibly well. I also really like the fact with this game that you've got, when you're pressing and holding something, it kind of ripples and ribbons across itself, and that caught me slightly off guard because they look like pretty patterns, and I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to hit those. So I really enjoyed Glisynth, cracker of a soundtrack as well, instant day one for me, 2 thumbs up. Next up is Yunyun Syndrome Rhythm Psychosis, and this is a 4-button rhythm action game where you are playing as almost like a streamer type person who is totally frazzled and off their nut and has gone a bit mental. And so what you're trying to then do is tap away various different messages on your computer, and whilst I was getting slightly distracted by the constant tapping noises going on as I was playing the actual game itself, the rhythm action sections were tricky, fast, precise, and well charted. And so, whilst I didn't get much time to explore all of the other aesthetic outside of the actual rhythm action elements, because there seems to be an awful lot of crazy anime girl goes even crazier vibes going on, which I'm here for. Yeah, the actual rhythm action bit was where I spent my time in the demo, and it was a 2 thumbs up from me. Next up is Dodori, and this is a cool and cute rhythm action game that took me a while to get used to. The rhythm chart is constantly going around in a square, and the different squares relate to different colours and therefore different instruments that you're hearing on top or over the top of the music that you're listening to. And then the icons that appear then relate to various different things that you do with your controller. So some of them are to do with shoulder buttons, some of them are more actiony ones, some of them are more analog stick, pressing in different directions, and some are press and holding. Because the squares kept changing colours, and that relates to the instrument, sometimes I didn't quite understand when I was pressing and holding something. I was causing myself some errors. And the game goes quite quickly because it's constantly bouncing around these squares. You have to kind of keep up with the visual chatter of what's going on with that, as well as also keeping in tune. But I still enjoyed myself with this one, definitely onto my wish list. It looked quite cute as well, and if you like anime girls at school doing anime things, I think this will be up your street. Next up is Noise Counselor, and this is a 2-button rhythm action game with a cool story over the top of it. The idea is that you've got some earbuds that have been taken over with a new AI program that's trying to give you music that relates to your emotion. And it's set up in an interesting light where you're slightly suspicious of it and then think that the tech is cool. And this is a narrative focused game, but because your situations and the different characters that the game alludes to will all have different emotional states and go through different journeys, you'll then get triggered into some proper rhythm action charts to then play with the F and J keys on your keyboard. And again, you'll kind of flip between the two. And this one, a bit like Dodori earlier, kind of flips and moves around where the chart is on the screen, because apparently you're in a beta and it's glitching. And so that took me a little bit of getting used to, because I was looking one place and all of a sudden it would move somewhere else, but it was just before like a hit would happen, and it just made me kind of go, ow, and then I didn't actually hit the button properly. And so I could see that being quite annoying for some people. I think it's one of those things that you'll get very used to though in the way how this game comes across. And I was really intrigued to find out more. So Noise Counselor straight onto my wish list and probably a day one. Next up is Home, and this isn't a strict rhythm action game, but it's a musical game where you play as a teen that has ran away from home because their father is abusive and a drunk. And so you then go and stay under a bridge, homeless, with your acoustic guitar. And as you move from scene to scene and kind of see the miserableness of your life, and it's told as if the developer is recounting their own experience, so I'm not quite sure how autobiographical this is. But what you're being asked to do is hear certain chords and then arrange the fingers on the guitar so that you can then strum the correct chord, which will then trigger a song to be played. Now, there might be more rhythm action beyond that, but that's what I played in a demo. However, this gives I want to give the tutorial for this game a very specific shout out, because when you're busy trying to sync certain things together, which makes me think that there is more rhythm stuff coming down the pipeline, it then goes off into a tutorial song where the developer just sings "This is a fucking tutorial song" over and over again over the same couple of chords. I was quite enjoying myself throughout all of that. I just thought it was a cool way to try and make a tutorial less stinky. Next up is Beats of Rebellion, and this is a rhythm-based brawler from an isometric perspective set in a universe in the future where basically music has been banned and everyone must be in silence. So what you're doing is then attacking various robots and security features to the beat, but they also attack to the beat, and you can see their attacks charging up, and then you can kind of get in, attack, and then move away again. You then also unlock certain abilities that get triggered by pressing buttons in the time of like a 4-button chord progression or a motif, which will then trigger like a healing ability or a special attack. And then if you want to do your master ability, you press down both of the shoulder buttons, and then that takes you into a proper rhythm action game for you to then do your massive attack. This was really well stylized. I like the fact that the demo then went beyond just beating up things to actually having the whole parkouring around your city to be rhythmic as well. So like bits of the floor dropped away and things would push you off ledges to the beat of the music at the background as well. And so it was just really well put together. And so Beat of Rebellion came left field for me, but I was really pleasantly surprised, and it's straight onto my wish list. The next game on this list, I was laughing my head off at, because when it told me what I was supposed to do, I didn't think I was actually supposed to do it. It's called I Write Games Not Tragedies, and whoever the developer is for this has my emo teenage heart in the palm of their hands, because this is someone who is reflecting back on the fact that they were a little goth emo child who was very upset about everything but had nothing really to be much upset about. Embarking on potentially a new friendship or relationship is, I think, where this game will head. And because you are an emo child, you will want to listen to your rock tunes from the 2000s. And there's a rhythm action element where you need to press the right button to line up so that you can then sing along with the lyrics in the verses. But when it gets to the chorus, you need a microphone, because the game is going to judge you on how much you scream into the microphone. And if you scream along at the same time-ish, it will then score you appropriately. And I was like, surely not. What's the buttons to press? But no, I just started going la 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 la, and I was scoring points, and it genuinely made me laugh. So this is like a mixture between a rock band and a sing-star. Gone karaoke weird. So but I love the aesthetic, I love the vibe behind it, really like the art style and the narrative too. Straight onto my wish list and a day one for me. Following that is a furry rhythm action game that's also an RPG, and it's called Crystailium. And I think it's called Crystailium anyway. It is now. That's how I'm pronouncing it. And what I liked about this one was that, again, it's merging together two different things that you don't normally see. And I can see this being real Marmite for people, if I'm honest. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the challenge. You've got 3 lanes of rhythm action that is spread across your keyboard. So again, the ASD is kind of the left bit. The GHJ is in the middle lane, and then the KL and the commas and stuff are on the right hand side lane, and so you'll need to kind of hit the right things at the right point to trigger that. But They will swap lanes, and so as you start off in one area, you'll then start to cross over and hit other areas as you go, so you'll have to kind of like press down extra things. But you've also got a character on the battlefield of the lanes, and so you'll need to then move the mouse left and right to make sure that they don't get hit by your enemy attacks coming back down towards you. And so the game will switch between keyboard based rhythm action stuff and then dodge 'em ups from the mouse. And sometimes the transitions are quite quick, and occasionally they start to overlap when you get into the more difficult tunes. And that's, I think, where people will be like, left brain, right brain, I am confusion. I really enjoyed it. I was still very left brain, right brain, I am confusion, but I did enjoy myself. There seemed to be an awful lot going on in this game that I didn't really spend any time having too much of a rummage at. I just wanted to see how the rhythm gameplay element of it worked, and I was satisfied, so it's straight onto my wish list for this one. The next game on this list is called Off the Text, and this is the most obtuse and strangest game on the list, but I was morbidly curious about it. The idea is that you use your entire keyboard as a rhythm action experience, and it's constantly going around telling you that on the fourth beat of whatever song you're listening to, you must press the letter of whatever it is that's coming up with the 4 beats around it. The problem is that this is a font pornography channel going on, and there's all kinds of distractions going on all over the place. That means it's actually quite difficult to make out what on earth you're supposed to do, and the tutorial does not help in any way, shape or form. And so I came into this game super intrigued, left it very confused, and this game is in desperate need of a redone tutorial, because it doesn't explain some of the nuances that then happen in the actual game that I was then discovering by accident. And so, again, on my wish list, I was very confused though, and actually the demo put me off the game more than what I did when I saw the trailer. This next game, called TenTen, was labelled as a rhythm action game or a rhythm and music based game, but it's not really. It's more of a dodge 'em up. The idea is that you are in a battle 1v1, and you can only shoot bullets at each other if you then add up numbers in a line, horizontal or vertical, that reach the number 10, and it can't be any other. So if you've got a 9 and a 1, or like an 4, 4 and a 2, then you can kind of put a ring around it and it will shoot bullets at your opponent, and then their health will decline. But as they move through different stages, there'll then be more kind of things to dodge on the screen that are triggered roughly along to the beat of the music, and I guess that's where the tangential rhythm element comes in here. I really enjoyed this. It was quite hard to do maths and do gaming at the same time, and so yeah, this confused me somewhat as to why it's tagged as rhythm, but hey, I've put it in the rhythm playlist myself, so there we go. Lastly on my list is AIVX Push. And this is almost like a Luminous style game, but nowhere near as successful for me. And so I've kind of don't know if I'm keeping this one on my wish list or not. I'll decide later. But the idea is that you've got blocks that go across the bottom of the screen that are 2x2, and then you push them up into the playing field when you press a button to push them up. Your goal is to try and create 2x2 blocks of the same colour, and then they will disappear and take any connected colour horizontally or vertically of the same shade that you just matched. And so that then brings down everything else that's left in the plane. But what I found with this is that it was so unhelpful, the way how the different blocks came along, in that it was actually quite difficult to make meaningful matches and not just kind of go meh, and it all felt like I was getting stuck very quickly, and it didn't feel like it was really moving to the music at all. There was lots of flashing lights and there was some thumpy beats, but it didn't really relate to the gameplay at all. And so this kind of feels like a attempt to capitalise on Luminous Arise coming out next month, but it's not really worked for me, and so yeah, I'm not too keen on this one, unfortunately. I hope that was helpful and you found some new rhythm action games to enjoy or pop on your wish list for the future. Take care, catch you soon.